This spray killed 90% of aphids in under 10 minutes. 4 ingredients. Total cost? Less than $1. And the formula is not new. It is 3,000 years old. Your grandmother's pest spray was not just a home remedy. It was a technique older than most civilizations. One that entomologists have now documented in scientific journals. The chemical industry told us we needed their products, but the research tells a different story. The archive opens in ancient Mesopotamia, nearly 5,000 years ago, where the first farmers discovered that the simplest ingredients could protect an entire harvest. Today, we are going to rebuild that ancient arsenal using 4 ingredients already in your kitchen. But unlike any other pest control video, we will show you the real science behind each one, warn you about hidden allies you might be accidentally destroying, and explain why your garden keeps getting attacked. Before we mix anything, we need to understand something most pest control videos never mention. A pest outbreak is not the problem. It is a symptom. When a plant is stressed, overwatered, underfed, planted in depleted soil, it releases volatile chemical signals into the air. These signals are essentially a dinner bell for aphids, whiteflies, and mealybugs. A healthy garden is a balanced ecosystem. The soil feeds the roots strengthen the plant supports beneficial insects, and those insects keep pests in check naturally. When one link breaks, the entire chain collapses. Now, a quick but important note. Make sure you are actually dealing with insects. Look for sticky residue, visible bugs, or tiny holes in leaves. If you see spots, powder, or wilting without bugs, that is likely a fungal problem, and this spray will not help. But if you are dealing with insects, the spray we are about to make is a rescue tool, not a permanent solution. Think of it as emergency medicine while you rebuild your garden's immune system. Now, let us prepare that medicine. 500 milliliters of clean water. Water has been the base of every agricultural remedy in recorded history. It carries the active ingredients to the target and dilutes them enough to protect the plant. Simple, unchanged for 3,000 years. 2 tablespoons of mild liquid soap. Not detergent, soap. There is a critical difference. Soap-based pest control was first documented in ancient Mesopotamia around 2800 BC. And the mechanism is not what most videos tell you. Soap does not attack the nervous system. That is a common myth that keeps getting repeated. What soap actually does is act as a surfactant. It dissolves the thin, waxy layer that protects an insect's body. Without that layer, the insect dehydrates and dies within minutes. A 2019 study in the Journal of Economic Entomology confirmed this. Concentrations between 1 and 2% are effective against soft-bodied insects. More is not better. It damages your plants. One important note, always test on a single leaf first. Wait 24 hours. Your grandmother had patience, so should you. And be honest about what this spray can do. It targets soft-bodied insects specifically, aphids, whiteflies, mealybugs, spider mites. It will not work on hard-shelled beetles or borers. 2 tablespoons of white vinegar. The Roman Empire used vinegar not just for food preservation, but as an agricultural tool. Vinegar's active compound is acetic acid, and again, it does not attack the nervous system. What it actually does is disrupt the pH balance on the insect's surface, accelerating the dehydration that the soap already started. Soap strips the armor. Vinegar finishes the job. And finally, 10 milliliters of cooking oil. This one is optional, but powerful. In 77 AD, the Roman naturalist Pliny the Elder documented olive oil as a pest barrier in his Encyclopedia Naturalis Historia. Oil coats the insect's spiracles, the tiny breathing holes along its body, causing suffocation. It also helps the spray stick to leaves longer. Stir gently until the mixture turns slightly milky. Transfer to a spray bottle. Your 3,000-year-old pest arsenal, ready in under 2 minutes. But before you spray a single leaf, there is something you need to know. Something that no DIY pest control video has ever told you. Imagine this. You spot aphids covering your tomato plants. You mix up a spray and drench each leaf. The aphids die. Victory. But the next week, they are back. Worse than before. Here is what happened in the hours after you sprayed. The ladybugs that were eating 50 aphids a day, dead. The lacewing larvae that scientists call aphid lions, gone. The tiny parasitic wasps that were laying eggs inside the aphids, wiped out. You did not just kill the enemy. You killed the entire army that was fighting for you. A single ladybug consumes up to 5,000 aphids in its lifetime. A lacewing larva devours 200 per week. These are the erased heroes of your garden, and broad-spectrum spraying is their extinction event. The ancient approach was never spray everything. It was surgical. Target only the infested areas. Spray in the evening when beneficial insects are less active. Leave untouched zones as safe havens for your allies. True pest control is not about killing everything. It is about restoring balance. And here is how you will know it is working. When you see 3 ladybugs for every 100 aphids, your garden is healing itself. Now, with that knowledge, let us talk about how to apply this spray correctly. 3 rules. Simple enough to remember, important enough that farmers have followed them for millennia. Rule 1. Never spray in direct sunlight. The combination of soap and UV light can burn leaves. Spray in late afternoon or early evening. Rule 2. Target the undersides of leaves. That is where soft-bodied pests concentrate. Spraying the tops is wasting your remedy. Rule 3. Rinse with clean water after 30 minutes. This removes residue before it can damage the plant's own protective coating. And here is why this works everywhere. If you are in a humid climate, use slightly less soap. If you are in a dry climate, add a touch more oil. The underlying principles are universal because they have been universal for 3,000 years. Now, let us see if 3,000 years of agricultural wisdom still holds up. Within minutes, the soap disrupts the cuticle. The vinegar accelerates dehydration. The oil seals the spiracles. The combination is precisely what entomologists have documented for decades. Not a folk remedy, not a guess. Well-documented science, applied the way ancient farmers always intended. But here is what truly matters. The real test is not those first 10 minutes. It is what happens in the days after. Does the plant bounce back? Do the pests return? If you followed the selective approach, your beneficial insects are still alive, still hunting, still protecting. And that is the difference between a quick fix and a lasting solution. The first application handles roughly 80% of the infestation. Repeat the next day for stragglers. After that, observe before you spray again. Because here is what the ancient approach understood that modern tutorials forgot. The goal is not 0 pests. That is impossible and undesirable. A few aphids attract ladybugs. Ladybugs establish colonies. Colonies protect your garden long after the spray bottle is empty. The ancient approach was not about spraying more. It was about spraying once, correctly, at the right time. Less work, better results. 2 quick safety notes. If you are spraying fruit trees or vegetables close to harvest, wait at least 3 to 7 days before picking. Rinse produce thoroughly and keep pets away during application and until the spray dries completely. Now, one final thing. There is a reason your grandmother did not need to spray every week. Her garden was balanced. She did not kill everything. She managed the ecosystem. She did not know the Latin names for surfactants or spiracles, but she knew what Pliny knew, what Mesopotamian farmers knew, what agricultural scientists have spent decades confirming. The simplest remedies, applied with patience and precision, are often the most powerful. That knowledge nearly disappeared, simplified into clickbait, distorted with false claims about nervous systems and instant miracles, but it endured. Because some things are too important to forget. A garden is not a battlefield, it is a community. The soil, the roots, the insects, the gardener, all part of the same ancient system. Your grandmother understood this. The farmers before her understood this, and now, so do you. You are not just mixing a spray. You are continuing a tradition that stretches back to the dawn of agriculture itself. You are the next link in a chain that refused to break. If this knowledge survived 3,000 years of being forgotten, it deserves to survive another generation. You know what to do. The archive remains open. And next week, we are going inside a forgotten greenhouse technique that could cut your water bill in half. I will see you there.